Captain Jake Morrison stared at the message on his screen for the third time. The words made him angry every time he read them. The Galactic Council had just told humanity they could not explore new worlds anymore. They said humans were too dangerous and needed to stay in their small corner of the galaxy. Jake looked out the window of his ship. Stars looked the same as always, but everything felt different now. For 15 years, he had worked hard to make other alien races trust humans. He had fought in their wars, helped solve their problems, and always tried to do the right thing. But it was never enough. His communication device made a sound. Admiral Lisa Carter appeared on the screen. Her face looked tired and sad. She had gray hair now, much more than when Jake first met her. The years of fighting for human rights had been hard on her. "Jake, I just got word from Earth," Lisa said. Her voice was quiet, but firm. The council voted. 46 species voted yes. Only we voted no. They want us to sign the Human Restriction Act by tomorrow, or they will cut off all trade with us. They might even attack our colonies. Jake felt his hands make fists. What does the act say exactly? No. Human ships can go past the outer rim. No new colonies. No exploring unknown space. We have to ask permission before we can even move our own ships in our own space. Lisa paused and looked away from the screen. They also want us to share all our military technology with them, but they won't share theirs with us. That's not fair treatment. That's making us prisoners, Jake said. I know, but if we don't agree, they say they will force us to agree. On the planet below Jake's ship, Dr. Kevin Hayes was packing his research papers into boxes. He had spent 5 years working with the Zephyrian science group. The Zephyrians were blue-skinned. Aliens who were very smart about making planets better for life. Kevin had learned so much from them, and had shared his own ideas too. But this morning, they told him he could not come to their labs anymore. The head scientist, a tall Zephyrian named Veltar, had looked sad when he gave Kevin the news. I am sorry, Dr. Hayes, Veltar had said. The council says humans are too simple to understand our advanced science. They think you might use our knowledge to make weapons. Kevin had wanted to argue, but he knew it would not help. He had never made weapons. All his work was about helping planets grow food and clean water. But the aliens had already made up their minds about humans. Across the city, Dr. Rachel Stone got more bad news. For 3 years, she had been trying to study quantum gateway technology. This was how alien ships could travel very fast between stars. Humans still used slower ships that took months to get places. Rachel had applied to study with the Gateway Masters 100 times. Every time they said no. They said humans were not ready for such powerful technology. But Rachel knew the real reason. They were afraid humans would become too strong if they learned the secrets of fast travel. The unfairness of it all made Rachel want to scream. Humans had helped the galaxy in so many ways. When the Outer Colony Rebellion started, human diplomats had helped make peace. When the hegemony attacked the smaller worlds, human ships had fought to protect them. When diseases spread across alien worlds, human doctors had found cures. But none of that mattered to the Council. They only saw humans as a threat. Far away, in the council chambers, Ambassador Helen Price sat in her chair and listened to the aliens talk about humanity like they were discussing a dangerous animal. The chamber was huge and round, with seats for all 47 member species. Helen's seat was in the back corner, far from the important aliens who made the real decisions. The council leader, a creature called Mortis, who looked like a giant insect, was reading the final vote count. His voice was cold and official. The Human Restriction Act passes with 46 votes in favor and 1 vote against. The human species will have 24 hours to accept these terms. Helen stood up. From her chair, the chamber became quiet. All the alien eyes turned to look at her. She had given many speeches in this room over the years, always trying to make them understand that humans were good people who wanted to help. But today was different. Today, Helen was done trying. For 15 years I have come to this chamber, she said. Her voice was clear and strong. I have listened to you call us dangerous. I have watched you vote against every proposal we make. You take our help when you need it, but you give us nothing back. Some of the aliens made angry sounds, but Helen kept talking. You say we are too aggressive, but who fought beside you against the Void Pirates? You say we cannot be trusted, but who shared their medical knowledge when the Red Plague spread? You say we are too primitive, but who solved the energy crisis on Kepler-7 when your best scientists could not? The chamber was completely quiet. Now even Mortis stopped moving his insect-like arms. We came to the galaxy hoping to make friends, wanted to learn from you and share what we know. But you never wanted friends. You wanted servants. Helen picked up her datapad and files. Well, you can't have servants either. She walked toward the exit, but stopped at the door and turned around one more time. You think containing us will make you safer? You are wrong. Today you have lost the best allies you ever had. As Helen left the chamber, she pressed a button on her communication device. A coded message went out to every human ship, station, and colony in the galaxy. Message was short but clear. Project Exodus begins now. Back on his ship, Captain Jake Morrison received the message. He'd been waiting for it. For months, human leaders had been making secret plans for this day. They had hoped it would never come. But they were ready. Jake opened his ship's communication system and sent orders to his crew. All hands, prepare for departure. We're going home. His first officer, Commander Billy Walsh, looked confused. Sir, our mission here isn't finished. We're supposed to guard the trade routes for another month. Not anymore, Billy. We're done guarding their trade routes. We're done protecting their ships. We're done being their unpaid security force. Jake looked out at the stars again. Send a message to the Hegemony Trade Station. Tell them they need to find someone else to keep the pirates away. All across the galaxy, similar scenes were happening. Human captains were receiving orders too. Come home. Human scientists were packing their research. Human doctors were leaving alien hospitals. Human teachers were closing their schools on alien worlds. The aliens had made their choice. They wanted humans gone from their galaxy. They thought humans were too dangerous to be trusted as equals. Soon, they would get exactly what they asked for. But they would also lose something they didn't know they needed. They would lose the one species that had always been willing to help others, even when it cost them everything. Admiral Lisa Carter watched the reports come in from across human space. Every ship was responding. Every colony was getting ready. In 72 hours, humanity would begin the largest movement of people in galactic history. Are you sure about this, Lisa? Asked General Robert Hayes, her old friend and advisor. Once we start, there's no going back. Lisa looked at the star maps on her wall. Red dots showed where humans lived now. Blue dots showed where they would. Go next, far beyond the galaxy's edge, where alien sensors could not find them. They made the choice for us, Robert. They wanted us contained. Let's show them what contained really means. The countdown had begun. In 3 days, humanity would walk away from the galaxy forever. 3 months had passed since the Galactic Council voted for the Human Restriction Act. At first, the aliens thought humans would just accept their new rules and stay quiet. They were wrong. Commander Ryan Bell stood on the observation deck of New Colorado Station, watching the last transport ships load up with people and supplies. New Colorado had been humanity's biggest mining operation in alien space. The rare metals they dug up here powered half the galaxy's energy systems. That's the last group, sir, said Lieutenant Mary Johnson, checking her datapad. 15,000 people, all their belongings, and every piece of equipment we can carry. Ryan nodded and looked down at the planet below. The mining tunnels were empty now. The processing plants were shut down. The living areas where human families had made their homes for 20 years were dark and quiet. What about the facilities? Mary asked. Should we destroy them so the aliens can't use them? No, Ryan said. Leave them exactly as they are. Let the aliens figure out how to use them. He smiled, but it was not a happy smile. Good luck to them. The Hegemony had built their whole expansion plan around getting metals from New Colorado. Their warships needed these special materials to work. Without them, their mighty fleet would become useless hunks of metal floating in space. But that was not humanity's problem anymore. On the space station orbiting Kepler-7, Dr. Amanda Foster was doing something that would have been impossible to imagine just months ago. She was erasing every piece of human knowledge from the galactic computer networks. Are you sure about this, Amanda? Asked her assistant, Dr. Charlie Adams. Some of this research took us decades to develop. The cure for Zephyrian bone disease, the new farming methods for desert planets, the improved starship engines. Amanda's fingers moved quickly over her keyboard. Years of human discoveries disappeared with each command she typed. They wanted to restrict our access to their knowledge. Now they can live without ours. The aliens had no idea how much their technology depended on human improvements. When humans first joined the galactic community, they had found alien technology to be powerful but inefficient. Human engineers had quietly made thousands of small improvements over the years. Better software, stronger materials, faster processors. Now all those improvements were being removed. The galactic net, the huge computer, the system that connected all the alien worlds had been partly designed by human programmers. As Amanda deleted the human code, errors began appearing across the network. Communication delays grew longer. Data transfers became slower. Some systems stopped working completely. The Trilaxian Consortium is already sending angry messages, Charlie reported, reading the emergency communications. Their banking system just crashed. They want to know what's happening. Tell them to figure it out themselves, Amanda said. They're the superior species, remember? This should be easy for them. Captain Steve Rogers was piloting the last human merchant ship through the Alpha trade route. His cargo hold was empty, which was strange for this route. Usually human traders carried goods between dozens of alien worlds, making the galaxy's economy work smoothly. But not today. Today, Steve was just going home. His communication system made a sound. An alien voice came through, speaking the trade, language that most species use for business. Human vessel, this is Vorthan Trade Control. You are scheduled to pick up industrial components for the outer colonies. Please respond. Steve looked at his crew. They were all humans who had spent their lives moving cargo between alien worlds. They knew every trade route, every spaceport, every customs official in this part of the galaxy. This is Captain Rogers, he said into the communicator. Sorry, but we're not making any more pickups. Find someone else to move your cargo. There was silence for a moment. Then the alien voice came back, sounding confused and a little angry. Captain Rogers, you have contracts to fulfill. The outer colonies need these components for their defense systems. Without them, they cannot protect themselves from the pirates. Steve thought about that. The outer colonies were small alien worlds that could not defend themselves. Human ships had been protecting them for years, fighting off pirate attacks and bringing them supplies. The aliens had never paid humans very much for this work, but humans had done it anyway because it was the right thing to do. That sounds like your problem now, Steve said. The Galactic Council decided humans are too dangerous to be trusted. So we're removing ourselves from your affairs. He switched off the communicator and looked at his navigation officer. Set course for Earth, Jenny. We're going home. Behind them, the Alpha trade route began to fall apart, without human ships. To move cargo, goods piled up at space stations. Without human security patrols, pirates became bolder. Without human mediators, trade disputes turned into shooting wars. The economic damage was worse than anyone had expected. The Trilaxian Consortium lost 40% of their income in the first month. The Vorthan Empire's expansion plans collapsed when they could not get the materials they needed. Dozens of smaller alien governments found themselves unable to get basic supplies. But the worst problem was the war between the hegemony and the Outer Colony Rebellion. This conflict had been going on for years, with humans serving as peacekeepers and negotiators. Human diplomats had prevented the fighting from spreading. Human ships had protected civilian targets from both sides. Now, the humans were gone, and the war exploded across 12 star systems. Ambassador Helen Price, who had returned to Earth after leaving the Galactic Council, watched the news reports with mixed feelings. Part of her felt sad seeing the galaxy tear itself apart. But another part of her felt satisfied that the aliens were finally learning what they had lost. The casualty reports are getting worse, said Secretary of State Frank Miller, reading from his datapad. The hegemony just bombed 3 civilian colonies. The rebellion responded by attacking hegemony trade ships. Both sides are asking for human peacekeepers to step in. What did we tell them? Helen asked. It's the same thing we've told everyone who asks for help. Humanity is no longer involved in galactic affairs. Helen walked to her office window and looked up at the sky. Somewhere out there beyond the stars she could see, human colonies were being built in unexplored regions of space. Humans were free to discover new worlds, develop new technologies, and live without alien restrictions. Any word from the advanced scouts? She asked. Frank smiled. This was better news. Captain Davis reports that the Exodus fleet has established 3 new colonies beyond the Void sector. The planets are rich in resources. There are no alien claims on them. Dr. Young's science team has already made some interesting discoveries. Good. What about the other fleets? Admiral Mitchell's group has found an entire region of space that the galactic maps don't even show. Hundreds of star systems, and many of them have planets suitable for human life. We could build a civilization out there that's bigger than anything in the known galaxy. Helen nodded. Your aliens thought they were punishing humanity by forcing them to leave. Instead, they had given humans the greatest gift possible: complete freedom to grow and explore without interference. Back in alien space, the problems kept getting worse. The quantum gateway network, which allowed fast travel between star systems, started having serious failures. Human technicians had maintained many of the gateway stations, and without them, the system began breaking down. Ships that should have taken days to travel between worlds were now taking weeks or months. Some ships got lost completely when there. Gateways malfunctioned. Trade slowed to a crawl. Military movements became nearly impossible to coordinate. Council leader Mortis called an emergency meeting. The insect-like alien looked tired and stressed as he addressed the assembled representatives. The human withdrawal has caused more damage than we anticipated, he admitted. Our economists estimate that galactic trade volume has dropped by 60%. The ongoing conflicts have made the situation worse. Surely we can replace them, said Senator Kethfer of the Drakmari Empire. There are other species capable of doing the work humans did. We've tried, Mortis replied. The problem, it's not just the work itself, but the knowledge and experience humans brought to it. They understood our systems better than we understood them ourselves. Some of the aliens began to suggest that maybe they should contact humanity and try to negotiate. But others argued that humans were clearly too dangerous to be allowed back into galactic society. After all, look how much damage they had caused just by leaving. The irony was lost on them. They had spent years claiming that humans were too aggressive and destructive. Now they were learning that humans had actually been the thing holding their civilization together. Far beyond the edge of known space, humanity was building something new. Free from alien restrictions and prejudices, human creativity and determination were creating wonders that the galaxy had never seen. The aliens had wanted humanity gone. They had gotten their wish. But they were starting to realize that getting what you want and getting what you need are two very different things. And for humanity, there was no going back. 2 years had passed since humanity vanished from the galaxy. The alien civilizations had tried to adapt, but nothing worked the same way anymore. What had once been a smoothly running galactic community was now full of problems that seemed to grow worse every day. Senator Kethfer of the Drakmari Empire stood in his office, looking at reports that made him feel sick. His people were proud warriors who had ruled dozens of star systems for centuries. But now, they were struggling with problems they had never faced before. The trade routes are still failing, his advisor, Commander Thexel, reported. Without human security patrols, the pirates have taken over most of the outer shipping lanes. Our merchants are afraid to leave protected space. Kethfer's forearms moved in frustration. What about our own security forces? We have more ships than the humans ever did. Yes, sir. But our ships are designed for big battles, not for chasing. Small pirate groups through asteroid fields. Humans had fast, small ships that could go anywhere. They knew how to hunt pirates in places our big warships cannot reach. The Drakmari had laughed when humans first offered to help with pirate problems. How could such a young species know more about space combat than the mighty Drakmari? But the humans had proven themselves again and again, catching pirates that Drakmari forces could never find. Now the joke was on the Drakmari. Their trade income had dropped so much that they could barely pay for their military. Some of their colonies were asking to join other empires because the Drakmari could no longer protect them. On the other side of the galaxy, the Trilaxian Consortium was having an even worse time. Their entire economy had been built on complicated trade agreements that required perfect timing and coordination. Human computers and human accountants had managed most of these systems. President Valanosh of the consortium sat in an emergency meeting with his top advisors. The blue-skinned alien looked older than his years, worn down by 2 years of constant crisis. "The latest numbers are in," said Economic Minister Furdock. "We've lost 70% of our interstellar trade volume. The computer systems are still having problems, and our people cannot figure out how to fix them." "What about the human programs we copied before they left?" Valanosh asked. "Try to copy them, but they don't work without the rest of the human design network. Like trying to use one part of a machine without the other parts. Everything is connected in ways we don't understand." The Trilaxians had always been proud of their business skills. They had built the largest trading empire in the galaxy through careful planning and smart deals. But they had relied on human technology and human expertise more than they realized. Now their great trading empire was falling apart, and they could not stop it. In the Galactic Council chambers, the mood was dark and angry. What had once been a place of cooperation and shared goals had become a place where different species blamed each other for their problems. Council leader Mortis tried to keep order, but it was getting harder every day. The insect-like alien had to use his security forces just to stop fights between different species representatives. "The situation in the Outer Rim is getting worse," reported General Zekhan of the Hegemony military. "The rebellion has taken control of 6 more systems. Without human peacekeepers to negotiate, both sides are fighting harder than ever." "My people are starving," said Representative Lamara of the Vegan Collective. "We depend on food shipments from agricultural worlds, but the shipping companies cannot guarantee safe delivery anymore. The pirates take everything. The Quantum Gateway network is failing," added Chief Engineer Burtak of the Gateway Maintenance Guild. "We've lost contact with 17 gateway stations. Ships are getting lost in hyperspace. Some have never been found." Mortis listened to complaint after complaint. Every problem seemed to lead back to the same cause. Humans were gone, and no one else could do what they had done. "Perhaps," suggested Senator Yilvin of the Peaceful Worlds Alliance, "we should try to contact the humans. Maybe we can work out a new agreement." The chamber exploded with angry voices. Some aliens agreed that they needed human help. Others argued that asking for human help would prove the council had been wrong to restrict them in the first place. A few still insisted that humans were too dangerous to be trusted. "We don't even know where they went," Mortis said when the noise died down. "Our long-range sensors show no signs of human activity anywhere in known space. It's like they just disappeared." What the aliens did not know was that humanity had not just disappeared. They had moved far beyond the edges of the galaxy, into regions of space that alien sensors could not reach. Fleet Admiral Tony Mitchell stood on the bridge of the colony ship New Horizon, looking out at a sight that still amazed him. 3 new worlds hung in space before him, all of them perfect for human life. Green forests, blue oceans, and clean air that humans could breathe without any artificial help. "The survey teams have finished their reports," said Captain Greg Thompson, his second-in-command. "All 3 planets are suitable for immediate colonization. No dangerous animals, no toxic plants, and plenty of fresh water." "Any signs of intelligent life?" Tony asked. "None at all? These worlds are completely empty of civilization. We can build here without worrying about disturbing anyone else." Tony smiled. In the old galaxy, humans had to ask permission to settle on new worlds. They had to follow alien rules about how many people they could bring and what kind of buildings they could construct. Every human colony had been watched and controlled by alien governments. But out here, beyond the galaxy's edge, humans were free to build whatever they wanted. Dr. Susan Clark, the expedition's chief scientist, joined them on the bridge. Her face was excited as she carried her latest research reports. "Tony, you need to see this," she said. "We've found something incredible on the second planet. There are ruins there, very old ruins, older than any civilization we know about." "Old?" Tony asked. "At least 50,000 years? Maybe more?" "The technology is unlike anything we've seen before. The aliens in the galaxy have never found anything like this." This was not surprising to Tony. The aliens had been so busy fighting each other and making rules that they had never bothered to explore the unknown regions of space. They had stayed in their comfortable, known territories, missing wonders that lay just beyond their borders. Dr. Patricia Young, the expedition's technology specialist, had even more exciting news. "We've been studying the energy readings from the ruins. There's some kind of power source there that's still working after all these years. If we can understand how it works, it could change everything." "Change everything how?" Greg asked. "Imagine ships that can travel between stars in minutes instead of days. Imagine energy sources that never run out. Imagine technology that could terraform dead worlds into gardens." Patricia's eyes shone with excitement. The aliens thought they were so advanced, but they never found any of this. Commander Nick Davis, who led the long-range scout teams, had been mapping the region around their new colonies. His reports painted a picture of a vast area of space full of opportunities. "We found over 200 star systems in this region," he reported. "At least 50 of them have planets that could support human life. And there are signs of more ancient ruins on several worlds." "Any other species?" Tony asked. "None that we've detected. This whole region seems to be empty of current. Intelligent life, whatever built those ruins, is long gone." Back in the known galaxy, the problems kept getting worse. The war between the hegemony and the Outer Colony Rebellion had spread to 20 star systems. Millions of civilians had been killed or forced to flee their homes. The economic damage was beyond calculation. The Quantum Gateway network had suffered. Another major failure. An entire sector had been cut off from the rest of the galaxy when their main gateway station exploded. No one knew how to fix it because the human technicians who understood the system were gone. Even worse, diseases were spreading on several alien worlds. Human doctors had developed treatments for many alien illnesses over the years, without human medical knowledge. Plagues that should have been easily controlled were killing thousands. Chief Science Officer Zara Quinn was one of the few humans who had stayed behind in the galaxy. She had volunteered to remain as an observer to watch what happened after humanity left. What she saw made her both sad and angry. "You could have prevented all of this," she told the council members during one of their emergency sessions. "Humans offered to work with you as partners. Instead, you treated us like dangerous children who needed to be controlled." "Surely," pleaded Council Leader Mortis, "there must be some way to contact your people. We could negotiate new terms, find a solution that works for everyone." Zara shook her head. "You had 15 years to find a solution that worked for everyone. You chose to make demands instead. Now humanity has found something better than anything you could offer." "What do you mean?" asked Senator Kethfer.
Us.
"Freedom," Zara said simply. "Freedom to explore, to grow, to become everything we were meant to be. Why would we give that up to come back to a galaxy that never wanted us?" The aliens had no answer for that. For years after humanity left the galaxy, something worse than anyone could imagine came out of the darkness between stars. The first sign of trouble was when the outer rim colony of Nexus Prime went completely silent. One day they were sending normal communications. The next day there was nothing but empty space where the colony used to be. Fleet. Commander Velthor of the Hegemony Navy received the emergency report while his ships were fighting rebellion forces near the Kepler sector. The message made no sense at first. "Sir," his communications officer reported, "we're getting distress signals from the Nexus system, but they cut off suddenly. When we sent a scout ship to investigate, they found nothing there. No colony, no space stations, no debris. Just empty space." Velthor looked at his tactical display. Nexus Prime had been home to 12 million aliens from 6 different species. Colonies that size did not just disappear. "Send a full investigation fleet," he ordered. "I want to know what happened." But before his ships could reach the Nexus system, another colony went dark. Then another, and another. Whatever was destroying these worlds was moving fast, faster than any known weapon or natural disaster. It was also moving in a straight line toward the heart of galactic civilization. Dr. Jennifer Walsh was a xenobiologist working at the Galactic Research Station when the first reports came in. She had been studying alien life forms for 20 years, but nothing in her experience prepared her for what the investigation teams found. The energy readings don't match anything in our databases, she told the Emergency Science Council. Whatever. Hit these colonies, it consumed all the energy in the system. Stars, planets, ships, even the background radiation. Everything is just gone. Could it be a natural phenomenon? Asked Chief Scientist Morvell of the Zephyrian Research Institute. No, Jennifer said, looking at her data again. The pattern is too organized, too purposeful. This is something intelligent, and it's hunting. The thing hunting them came from the void between galaxies. The Void Hunters, as they would later be called, were beings of pure energy that fed on the life force of entire star systems. They had been sleeping in the darkness for millions of years, waiting for galactic civilization to grow large enough to be worth consuming. When the Void Hunters attacked, there was no warning and no mercy. They appeared out of hyperspace in ships that looked like living shadows. Their weapons turned matter into energy, which they then absorbed to make themselves stronger. The first major battle happened at the Trilaxian homeworld. Admiral Kekstar commanded the largest fleet the Consortium had ever assembled. 200 warships surrounded their most important planet, ready to defend it with their lives. The battle lasted exactly 17 minutes. Kekstar watched in horror. As his ships were destroyed one by one, the alien weapons simply passed through their shields as if they were not there. When the energy beams hit his ships, they did not explode. Instead, they dissolved, turning into streams of light that flowed into the Void Hunter vessels. All ships retreat, Kekstar ordered, but it was too late. The enemy was faster than anything he had ever seen. When the attack was over, the Trilaxian homeworld was gone. Not destroyed, not conquered, but completely absorbed. The star system, that had been the center of galactic trade for 1,000 years, was now empty space. The news spread panic across the galaxy. These were not enemies that could be negotiated with or defeated by normal means. They were a force of nature, unstoppable and hungry. Emergency sessions were called in the Galactic Council. Representatives from every species gathered to discuss the threat, but no one had any good ideas. Our combined fleets have less than half the ships we had before the humans left, reported General Zekhan. The ongoing wars have weakened us badly. Even if we work together, I don't think we can stop these creatures. What about evacuation? Suggested Senator Yulvan. We could move our populations to the outer systems, beyond their reach. They're already hitting the outer systems, Council Leader Mortis replied. They seem to be working their way inward, consuming everything in their path. At their current speed, they'll reach the core worlds in less than 6 months. The irony was terrible and complete. For years, the aliens had worried about humanity being too aggressive and dangerous. Now they faced truly aggressive and dangerous enemies, and they were helpless against them. Dr. Jennifer Walsh made a discovery that made the situation even worse. After studying the energy patterns from the attacks, she realized something terrifying. About the Void Hunters, not just randomly destroying systems, she reported to the Council. They're learning from each attack. Every time they absorb a civilization, they gain that civilization's knowledge and technology. They're getting smarter and stronger. This explained why the attacks were becoming more efficient. The first colony had taken the Void Hunters several hours to consume. Now they could drain an entire star system in minutes. Is there any way to stop them? Asked Senator Cathayer. Jennifer looked at her research data and shook her head. Not with any technology we have. They seem to be immune to our weapons, and they can adapt to any defense we create. In desperation, some council members suggested something that would have been unthinkable just years before. What about the humans? Asked Representative Lamara. Maybe they could help us. The chamber fell silent. The same species they had tried to contain for being too dangerous was now their only hope against enemies that were truly dangerous. "We don't even know where they are," Mortis said. "They could be anywhere in the universe, but surely they must know what's happening here," argued Senator Yulvin. "If these creatures consume our entire galaxy, won't the humans be next?" Chief Science Officer Zara Quinn, the last human in the galaxy, listened to the debate with mixed feelings. Part of her wanted to help find humanity and ask for their assistance. But another part of her remembered all the years of insults and restrictions. If we could contact them," she said, "why would they help? You spent 15 years telling them they were too dangerous for civilized space. You made it clear that you didn't want them as partners or allies. But this is different," pleaded Mortis. "This threatens everyone, humans included, does it?" Zara asked. "The humans are far beyond the edges of known space. These void hunters might never find them. From humanity's perspective, this is just the galaxy that rejected them getting what it deserves." The aliens had no answer for that. They had created this situation themselves by driving away the one species that might have been able to help them. As the void hunters continued their advance, more worlds fell. The Vorthan Empire lost 3 colony systems in a single day. The Peaceful Worlds Alliance watched helplessly as their beautiful garden worlds were turned into empty void. Refugee ships filled with fleeing aliens crowded into the remaining safe systems. But there were no truly safe systems anymore. The void hunters were coming for everyone. Scientists worked desperately to find some kind of weapon that could hurt the creatures. Military leaders planned impossible defenses with ships they no longer had. Politicians made speeches about unity and courage while secretly planning their own escapes. But deep down, everyone knew the truth. The galaxy was doomed. The greatest irony was that the aliens had brought this on themselves. Humanity had still been part of the galactic community. Their scientists might have found a solution. Their military might have developed new tactics. Their diplomats might have even found a way to communicate with the void hunters. But humanity was gone. The aliens had to face this threat alone. In the depths of space, emergency transmitters began broadcasting desperate messages in all directions. "This is the Galactic Council calling any human ships or colonies? We are under attack by an unknown enemy. Our civilizations are being destroyed. If you can hear this message, please respond. We need your help." The messages went out again and again, broadcast on every frequency humans had ever used. But the only answer was silence. The galaxy that had rejected humanity was now begging for their help. But humanity was far away, building new worlds and making new discoveries beyond the reach of alien sensors. And as the void hunters grew stronger with each world they consumed, it seemed more and more likely that no help would come at all. Aliens had wanted to be safe from humanity's dangerous nature. How they would learn what real danger looked like. They would face it without the one species that had always been willing to stand up to any threat. The countdown to galactic extinction had begun. The galaxy was dying. In 6 months, the void hunters had consumed 47 star systems and showed no signs of slowing down. The remaining alien civilizations huddled in their core worlds, waiting for the end to come. Then something impossible happened. Human ships appeared. Captain Ben Parker's voice came across all galactic communication channels at the same time. His message was calm and professional, as if humanity had never left at all. "This is Captain Parker of the Human Colonial Fleet. We have received your distress calls and monitored the situation. After careful consideration, humanity has decided to intervene." In the Galactic Council chambers, the alien representatives stared at their communication screens in shock. Council leader Mortis could hardly believe what he was hearing. "Respond immediately," he ordered his communications officer. "Tell them we accept any terms they want. We need their help desperately." But the human response was not what the aliens expected. Admiral Victoria Turner appeared on the main screen of the council chamber. She wore a uniform that none of the aliens recognized, with insignia that suggested humanity had changed greatly during their years away. Her bearing was confident and strong, like someone who had never known defeat. "We are prepared to assist with the Void Hunter crisis," she announced. "However, our terms are not negotiable. Humanity will operate as an independent force. We will not rejoin the Galactic Council. We will not submit to your authority. We will not be restricted again, Senator. Kethver wanted to argue, but General Zekon stopped him. We have no choice, the general whispered. Without their help, we are all dead in 3 months. Agreed, Mortis said quickly. We accept your terms completely. Please help us. What happened next amazed every alien who witnessed it. The human fleet that emerged from hyperspace was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Their ships were sleek and powerful, with technology that seemed centuries ahead of what humans had possessed when they left. The lead ship alone was larger than the biggest alien dreadnought, but it moved with the grace of a fighter craft. Smaller. Human vessels surrounded it, their formations perfect, and their movements coordinated in ways that suggested advanced artificial intelligence. Admiral Carl Bull Steffens commanded the human fleet from the bridge of the flagship Defiance. He had spent 4 years preparing for this moment, studying the ancient alien technology that humanity had discovered beyond the galaxy's edge. All ships, prepare for engagement, he ordered. Remember, these creatures feed on conventional energy. Use only the quantum disruptors and phase weapons. The first battle between humans and void hunters took place near the ruins of the Trilaxian homeworld. The alien observers expected to watch humanity's ships get destroyed just like everyone else's had been. Instead, they witnessed something that changed their understanding of what was possible when the void hunters fired their energy-draining weapons at the human ships. Something incredible happened. The beams simply passed through the human vessels without causing any damage. The human ships had somehow learned to exist partially outside normal space, making them immune to the creature's primary weapons. Impossible, whispered Dr. Jennifer Walsh as she watched the battle from a safe distance. How are they doing that? Commander Diana Price, leading a squadron of human fighters, provided the answer as she coordinated her attack. Phase shift complete. All fighters switch to quantum. Disruptors. Target their energy cores. The human weapons were unlike anything the aliens had ever seen. Instead of trying to destroy the Void Hunter ships, they disrupted the energy patterns that held the creatures together. The effect was immediate and devastating. For the first time since the crisis began, Void Hunter ships were not just damaged, but completely destroyed. The creatures that had seemed unstoppable were suddenly fleeing from human forces. But the real surprise came when the battle was over. Captain Ben Parker contacted the alien observation fleet with a message that no one expected. The immediate threat to the system has been eliminated. We will continue to engage Void Hunter forces throughout the galaxy. However, when this crisis is resolved, humanity will be departing again. Do not attempt to follow us or contact us further. The aliens were confused and grateful at the same time. Humanity was saving them, but they were also making it clear that this help came with no expectation of renewed friendship. Over the next 3 months, human forces systematically drove the Void Hunters out of the galaxy. Their tactics were brilliant, and their technology was overwhelming. Admiral Carl Stevens and his fleet commanders fought battles that would be studied for generations. The turning point came at the Battle of the Core Worlds, where the largest Void Hunter fleet had gathered to consume the heart of galactic civilization. Admiral Stevens brought the full might of humanity's colonial fleet to bear against an enemy that had never known defeat. All ships advance to attack formation, Stevens ordered. Today we show these creatures what happens when they threaten. Innocent people, the battle lasted 18 hours and involved over 500 ships on each side. When it was over, the Void Hunter fleet was completely destroyed, and their remaining forces fled back to the darkness between galaxies. But humanity's victory came with a price that the aliens did not expect to pay. As the crisis ended,
Admiral
Victoria Turner made humanity's final announcement to the galaxy. Her words were broadcast to every surviving world and every refugee camp. The Void Hunter threat has been eliminated. Her intervention is complete. The galaxy is now safe from external invasion. Council Leader Mortis tried to interrupt with messages of gratitude and offers of new agreements, but Turner continued without acknowledging him. However, humanity wishes to make our position absolutely clear. We came back because innocent people were dying, not because we forgave the way you treated us. Our decision to help does not change anything between us." The alien representatives tried to respond, offering trade agreements, territory, seats. On the council, anything they could think of to convince humanity to stay. Turner's response was swift and final. "For 15 years, you had the opportunity to treat humanity as equals. You chose instead to treat us as threats to be contained. You wanted us restricted and controlled. You got what you asked for. But surely," pleaded Senator Kethfer, "we can find a new arrangement. Humanity has proven itself to be valuable allies." "Too late," Turner said. The words hit the alien representatives like physical blows. "You had your chance to have us as allies. You chose to have us as subjects instead. When we refused to be subjects, you chose to have us as enemies. We chose to leave rather than be your enemies. Now you want us back as saviors." But humanity is no longer interested in any relationship with the Galactic Council. Captain Ben Parker took over the transmission for humanity's final message to the galaxy. "You said we were too aggressive for civilized space. You said we were too unpredictable to be trusted. Said we were too dangerous to be allowed freedom. Perhaps you were right. When true danger threatened the galaxy, it was our aggression that saved you. It was our unpredictability that found solutions your scientists never imagined. It was our dangerous nature that stood between you and extinction. But remember this, we did not save you for your sake. We saved you because it was the right thing to do. That is what humanity does. We protect the innocent, even when the innocent have wronged us." Admiral Turner appeared on screen one final time. Her expression was sad but determined. "The galaxy is safe now. You are free to govern yourselves without human interference. That is what you wanted from the beginning. Do not attempt to follow us into unknown space. Do not attempt to contact us again. Humanity's found something better than anything this galaxy can offer. Freedom, respect, and the chance to grow without limitations. Govern yourselves accordingly." The last human ship vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind a galaxy that was safe but forever changed. The aliens had been rescued by the very species they had rejected, and now they had to live with the knowledge that they would never see humanity again. In the years that followed, as the aliens rebuilt their civilizations and tried to learn from their mistakes, they often wondered what marvels humanity might have shared with them. What technologies might they have developed together? What discoveries might they have made as partners instead of as master and subject? But those questions would never be answered. Humanity had walked away from the galaxy forever, taking their potential, their friendship, and their forgiveness. With them into the vast unknown, the aliens were safe. They were also alone. They had no one to blame but themselves. It was too late to fix it. Humanity had walked away, and this time everyone knew they would never return.